Welcome back. Well, we are bringing you more from the World Economic Forum Africa, which is underway in Durban. We crossed our reporter Liabo Setho, and certainly Liabo, WEF has got a lot to cover in 3 days, from economic growth on the continent to economic inclusivity. Tell us a bit about the sessions that have got underway so far.
Natasha, you're absolutely right. While it is the economic forum, it has a lot of facets in it in terms of we also are looking at sessions that cover education, that cover health issues, that cover industrialization, and some of the more prominent sessions that will be taking place. I might just want to remind you that the sessions officially began at 13:30 today in Durban, Natasha. At 1500 hours, that is in just a little bit under an hour from now, they'll be looking at Discover Powering Knowledge. This is a theme that emanates from last year's WEF, where in Rwanda they were talking about the importance of the knowledge economy, making sure that you get people educated, you disseminate information for people to make informed decisions. And there's of course also emanating from last year's theme, which was the fourth industrial revolution, is the issue of digitization and the issue of technology, and how that is impacting on perhaps the world of work, how that is impacting in all the facets, even in the economy itself and politics. Digitization is definitely going to be taking Africa by storm. Of course, they'll also be looking at combating diseases of poverty. We know that in Africa we have a big problem with malaria and cholera and so forth. So different sessions will be looking at different problems and different challenges that Africa is facing.
Myriad of topics under discussion there, and all sort of interlinking, I suppose, but also one of the big issues under discussion, I would imagine, will be investment. So Team South Africa will have some convincing to do on that front, won't they?
They absolutely will have a lot of convincing to do. This is because this World Economic Forum, Natasha, happens at a time where South Africa finds itself in a very, very weak position. We know that our growth is not the best growth. We're not even growing at 1% yet. In fact, projections are that for the average of the year, we might just see maybe over a little bit of 1% of economic growth that we see for South Africa. We know that we have been downgraded by 2 ratings agencies. So far, we have a over 26% increase in unemployment rates, mostly youth unemployment. And those are the big problems. If you're going to have investors coming into the country, you would want to give them something to work with. You want to say to them, here's an economy that's growing, here's an economy that is not downgraded. But one of the things that have been mentioned by a lot of analysts that we spoke about was that this is not the end of the world for South Africa. We may be facing problems right now, like other countries, of course, are facing problems, but it's not the end of the world. Things are going to get better. It is through dialogues and discussions such as these ones where you find people speaking to their counterparts in other part of the world to tell them that, look, we do have a strategy. We are on a route to fiscal consolidation. We are going to look at our economy, and we are working into making it grow even better.
All right, Liabo, some interesting topics, I'm sure, to look forward to there with, I'm sure, high-profile speakers, but I know that there are also some high-profile delegates attending the event. We saw the president arrive there earlier. Take us through some of the big names.
Yes, like you said, President Jacob Zuma did do his walkabout around the ICC. He managed to walk past here, our makeshift SABC studios. We have the Honorable Paul Kagame, the President of Rwanda, is attending. We have King Mswati from Swaziland, he's attending. And of course, President Robert Mugabe from Zimbabwe, he's said to be attending as well. Of course, lots of private sector companies, your banks that we know, your Standard Bank, your Nedbank, and all private sector companies are also in attendance. But mostly, I think the one thing that catches a lot of people's attention is the heads of states that are here, and particularly one in President Robert Mugabe, which is quite an interesting one.
Absolutely. Liabo, thank you so much. I'll let you go. Liabo Setho there live from Durban at the World Economic Forum Africa, and of course a lot more still to come over the next 3 days from WEF.